Hello, Shalom, Shabbat. Welcome back to this week's Torah portion. We'll be reading Sisha, meaning when you elevate, when you take, when you lift up. We'll be reading in Exodus chapter 30 from verse 11 all the way through chapter 34, verse 35. From the half Torah portion, we'll be reading Ezekiel 36, chapter 36, verses 16 through 35. From the Apostles, New Testament, Gospels, the Book of John, chapter 11, verses 47 through 56. We'll be in the Scriptures, 2009 version. Exodus 30, verse 11 on page 90. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, when you take the census of the children of Israel to register them, then each one shall give an atonement for his life to Yahweh. When you register them, so that there is no plague among them, when you register them. Everyone among those who are registered is to give this, a half a shekel, according to the shekel of the set-apart place. 20 gerhards being a shekel, and a half shekel is a contribution to Yahweh. Everyone passing over to be registered, from 20 years old and above, gives a contribution to Yahweh. The rich does not give more than the poor does, not give less than half a shekel. When you give a contribution to Yahweh, to make atonement for yourselves. And you shall take the silver for the atonement from the children of Israel, and give it to the service of the tent of appointment. And it shall be to the children of Israel for remembrance before Yahweh, to make atonement for yourselves. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, and you shall make a basin of bronze, with its stand also of bronze, for washing. And you shall put it between the tent of appointment and the slaughter place, and shall put water in it. And Aaron and his sons shall wash from it their hands and their feet, when they go into the tent of appointment, or when they come near the slaughter place to attend, to burn an offering made by fire to Yahweh, they wash with water, lest they die. And they shall wash their hands and their feet, lest they die. And it shall be a law forever to them, to him and his seed, throughout their generations. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, and take for yourselves choice spices, which 500 shekels of liquid myrrh, and half as much, 250 of sweet-smelling cinnamon, and 250 of sweet-smelling cane, and 500 acacia, according to the shekel of the set-apart place, and a hin of olive oil. And you shall make from these a set-apart anointing oil, a compound, blended, the work of a perfumer. It is to a set-apart anointing oil. And with it you shall anoint the tent of appointment, and the ark of the witness, and the table and all its utensils, and the lampstand and its utensils, and its slaughter place of incense, and the slaughter place of ascending offering with all its utensils, and all the basin and its stand. And you shall set them apart, and they shall be most set apart. Whatever touches them is to be set apart. And you shall anoint Aaron and his sons, and set them apart to serve as priests to me. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, this is a set apart anointing oil to me throughout your generations. And it shall not be poured on the flesh of man, and make no other like it, according to its composition. It is set apart to you. Whoever compounds any like it, or whoever puts it on a stranger, shall be cut off from his people. And Yahweh said to Moshe, take sweet fragrances, fragrant gum and cinnamon and galbanum, and clear frankincense with these sweet spices, all in equal amounts. Then you shall make of these an incense, a compound, work of a perfumer, salted, clean, set apart. And you shall beat some of it very fine, and some of it before the witness in the tent of appointment, where I meet with you. It is most set apart to you. And the incense which you make, do not make any for yourselves according to its composition. It is set apart to you from Yahweh. Whoever makes any like it to smell it shall be cut off from his people. Chapter 31. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, see, I have called by name Besel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I have filled him with the spirit of Elohim in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all work, to make designs for gold, for work in gold and silver and in bronze, and in cutting stones for settings, and in carving wood, and to work in all work. And look, I have appointed with him Obihan, son of Asmech, of the tribe of Dan. And I have put wisdom in the hearts of everyone who is wise-hearted, and they shall make all that I have commanded you. The tent of appointment, and the ark of the witness, and the lid of atonement that is on it, and all the utensils of the tent, and the table and its utensils, and the clean gold lamp with all its utensils, and the slaughter place of incense, and the slaughter place of ascending offering, with all the utensils, and the basin, and the stand. And the woven garments, and the set apart garments of Aaron, the priest, and the garments for his son, for serving as priests. And the anointing oil and the sweet incense for the sweet set apart place, according to all that I have commanded you, they are to do. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, and speak to the children of Israel, saying, my Sabbaths you are to guard by all means, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahweh, am setting you apart. And you shall guard the Sabbath, for it is set apart to you. Everyone who profanes it shall certainly be put to death. For anyone who does work on it, that being shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days work is done, and on the seventh is a Sabbath of rest set apart to Yahweh. Everyone doing work on the Sabbath day shall certainly be put to death. And the children of Israel shall guard the Sabbath, to perform the Sabbath throughout their generations, and our everlasting covenant between me and the children of Israel. It is a sign forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And when he had ended speaking with him in Mount Zion, he gave Moshe 2 tablets of the witness, tablets of stone, written with the finger of Elohim. 32. And when the people saw that Moshe was so long in coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, Arise, make mighty ones who go before us. For this Moshe, the man who brought us out of the land of Mizraim, we do not know what has become of him. And Aaron said to them, Take off the gold earrings which are on your ears of your wives, your sons, your daughters, and bring them to me. And all the people took off all the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them to Aaron. And he took this from their hand, and he formed it with an engraving tool, and he molded a calf. And they said, This is your mighty one, O Israel, what brought you out of the land of Mizraim? And Aaron saw and built a slaughter place before it. And Aaron called out and said, Tomorrow it is a festival to Yahweh. And they rose early on the next day and offered a sending offering and brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. It was a party. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Go get down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Mizraim have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out the way which I commanded them. They have made themselves a molded calf, and have bowed themselves to it, and slaughtered to it, and said, This is your mighty one, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim. And Yahweh said to Moshe, I have seen this people, and see, it is a stiff-necked people. And now let me alone, and my wrath might burn against them, that I might consume them, and make you a great nation. But Moshe pleaded with Yahweh, said, Elohim, please. But Moshe pleaded with Yahweh, his Elohim, and said, Yahweh, why does your wrath burn against your people, whom you have brought out of the land of Mizraim, with great power and with a strong hand? Why should the Mizrahites speak and say, For evil he brought them out to kill them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from the heat of your wrath, and relent from this evil to your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by yourself, and said to them, I increase your seed like the stars of the heavens. And all this land that I have spoken of I give to your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And Yahweh relented from evil, which he said he would do to his people. And Moshe turned and went down from the mountain, and in his hand were 2 tablets of the witness, tablets written on both sides, written on the one and the other. And the tablets were work of Elohim, and the writing was of Elohim engraved on the tablets. And Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, and he said to Moshe, A noise of battle in the camp. But he said, It is not the sound of those who shout of might, nor is the sound of those who cry out in weakness, but the sound of singing I hear. And it came to be, as soon as he came near the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moshe's displeasure burned, and he threw the tablets out of his hands and broke them on the foot of the mountain. And he took the calf which they had made, and burned it in the fire, and ground it into powder, and shattered it in all the face on the ground of the water, and made the children of Israel drink it. And Moshe said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you, that you have brought a great sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Do not let the displeasure of my master burn. You know the people, that this is evil." And they said to me, "Make us mighty ones who go before us. For this Moshe, man who the man who brought us out of the land of Mizraim, we do not know what has become of him." And I said to them, "Whoever has gold, let them take it off." And they gave it to me, and threw it into the fire, and this calf came out. And Moshe saw that the people were let loose, for Aaron had let them loose, to their shame among their enemies. And Moshe stood at the entrance of the camp and said, "Who is for Yahweh? Come to me." And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves to him. And he said to them, "Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, each one put his sword on his side, pass over to and fro from gate to gate in the camp, and each one kill his brother, and each one his friend, and each other one his relative." And the sons of Levi did according to the words of Moshe. And about 3,000 men of the people fell that day. And Moshe said, "You are ordained for Yahweh for today, since each one has been against his son and his brother, so as to bring upon a blessing you today." And it came to be on the next day that Moshe said to the people, "You have sinned a great sin, and now I'm going up to Yahweh, if I might atone for your sin." And Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, "Okay, these people have sinned a great sin, and have made for themselves a mighty one of gold. And now, if you would forgive their sin, but if not, please blot me out of your book which you have written." And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Whoever has sinned against me, I blot him out of my book. And now go lead the people to the place which I have spoken to you. See, my messenger, capital M, which means Yeshua, goes before you. And in the day of my visitation I shall visit their sin upon them." And Yahweh plagued the people, because they made the calf which Aaron made. 33. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Come, go up from here, you and the people whom you have brought out of the land of Mizraim, to the land which I swore to you, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, to your seed I give it. And I shall send my messenger, Yeshua, before you, and shall drive out the Canaanite, and the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivites, and the Jebusite, to a land flowing with milk and honey. For I do not go up in your people's midst, because you are a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you on the way." And when the people heard this evil word, they mounted and pointed. They mourned. Let me back up here. 4. And when the people heard this evil word, they mourned, and no one put on his ornaments. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Say to the children of Israel, you are a stiff-necked people. Should I go up in your midst for anyone? And now take off your And now take off your ornaments, and I shall know what to do to you." And the children of Israel took off their ornaments at Mount Horeb, And Moshe took his tent and pitched it outside the camp, far from the camp, and called it the tent of appointment. And it came to be that everyone who sought Yahweh went out to the tent of appointment, which was outside the camp. And it came to be, whenever Moshe went out of the tent, that all the people rose, and each man stood in his tent door and watched Moshe until he entered the tent. And it came to be, when Moshe entered the tent, that the column of cloud descended and stood at the door of the tent. And he spoke with Moshe. And all the people saw the column of cloud standing day by day. Lost track there. And it came to be, when Moshe entered the tent, the column of cloud ascended and stood at the door of the tent, and he spoke with Moshe. And all the people saw the column of clouds standing at the tent door, and all the people rose and bowed themselves, each one at the door of his tent. Thus Yahweh spoke to Moshe face to face, and as a man speaks to his friend. And he would return to the camp. But his servant Joshua, son of Nun, a young man, did not leave his tent. And Moshe said to Yahweh, "See, you are saying to me, bring up this people, but you have not made known to me whom you would send with me. Though you have said, I know you by my name, and you have found also favor in my eyes. And now please, if I have found favor in your eyes, please show me your way, and let me know you, so that I find favor in your eyes, and consider that this nation is your people." And he said, "My presence does go, and I shall give you rest." And he said to him, "If your presence is not going, do not lead us up from here." Let me repeat that. And he said to him, "If your presence is not going, do not lead us up from here. And how then shall it be known that I have found favor in your eyes, and I, your people, expect you to go with us? Then we shall be distinguished, you and I and your people, from all the people who are upon the face of the earth." And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, "Even this word which I have spoken I shall do, for you have found favor in my eyes, and I know you by name." Then he said, "Please show me your esteem." And he said, "I shall cause all my goodness to pass before you, and I shall proclaim the name of Yahweh before you, and I shall favor him whom I favor, and I shall have compassion on him who I have compassion." And he said, "You are unable to see my face, for no man does see me and live." And Yahweh said, "See, there is a place with me, and you shall stand on a rock. And it shall be, while my esteem passerbys, that I shall put you to the cleft of the rock, and cover you with my hands while I pass by. Then I shall take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but not my face shall not be seen." 34. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, "Cut 2 tablets of stone like the first ones, and I shall write on these tablets the words that were on the first tablets which you broke. And be ready in the morning. Then you shall come up in the morning to Mount Zion, and present yourself to me there on the top of the mountain. Let no man come up with you, and let no man be seen in all the mountain, and let not even the flock or the herd feed in the front of the mountain. And he cut 2 tablets of stone like the first ones. Then Moshe rose early in the morning and went up on Mount Zion as Yahweh had commanded him. And he took 2 tablets of stone in his hand. And Yahweh came down in a cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name Yahweh. And Yahweh passed before him and proclaimed Yahweh. Yahweh El compassionate and showing favor, patient and great in loving commitment and truth, watching over loving commitment for thousands, forgiving crookedness and transgression and sin, but by no means living unpunished, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children and their children's children, to the 3rd and 4th generation. And Moshe hurried and bowed himself toward the earth and did obedience, and said, If now I have found favor in your eyes, O Yahweh, I pray, let Yahweh go in our midst, even though we are stiff-necked people. And forgive our crookedness and our sin, and let us and take us as your inheritance. And he said, See, I am making a covenant before all your people. I am going to do wonders, such as you have not been done in all the earth, nor in any part of the nation. And all the people among whom you are shall see the works of Yahweh, for I am doing with you is awesome. For what I am doing with you is awesome. Guard what I command you today. See, I am driving out from before you the Amorite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Uzabite. Guard yourself, lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land where you are going, lest it be a snare in your midst. But break down their slaughter places, and smash their pillars, and cut down their esteem. For you do not bow yourselves to another mighty one for Yahweh, whose name is jealous. It is a jealous El. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they whore after their mighty ones, and their slaughter place. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they whore after their mighty ones, and slaughter to their mighty ones, and one of them invites you, and you eat of his slaughterings. And you take his daughters for your sons, and his daughters whores after their mighty ones, and make your sons whore after their mighty ones. Do not make a molded mighty one for yourself. Guard the festival of matzah, unleavened bread, coming up. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the appointed time, the new moon of Abib. Because in the new moon of Abib you came out of Mizraim. Everyone opening the womb is mine. And every firstborn among your livestock, whether bull or sheep, but the firstborn of a donkey you ransom with the donkey. And if you had but the firstborn of a donkey you ransom with a lamb, and if you do not ransom, then you shall break his neck. Every firstborn of your sons you shall ransom, and you shall not appear before me empty-handed. 6 days you work, and on the 7th day you rest. In plowing time and in harvest you rest, and perform the festival of Shavuot. booths for yourself, for the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the festival of ingathering. At the turn of the year. 3 times a year all your men are to appear before the Master Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. For I dispose nations before you, and shall enlarge your borders, and let no one covet your land, when you have gone up to appear before Yahweh. For I dispose nations before you, and shall enlarge your borders, and let no one covet your land, when you go up to appear before Yahweh, your Elohim, 3 times in the year. Do not slay the blood of my slaughter place with leaven, and do not let the slaughtering of the festival of the Pesach remain until morning. Bring the first of the fruits of your land to the house of Yahweh, your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. And Yahweh said to Moshe, write these words, for according to the mouth of these words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. And he was there with Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. He did not eat bread, and he did not drink water, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 words. And it came to be when Moshe came down from Mount Zion, while the 2 tablets of the witness were in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mountain, that Moshe did not know that the skin of his face shone since he had spoken to him. And Aaron and all the children of Israel looked at Moshe and saw the skin on his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moshe called out to them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned to him, and Moshe spoke to them, kind of like an axe when Yeshua appears. End of John. He appears to his taught ones. They didn't recognize him at first, right? So, but Moshe called out to them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned to him. And Moshe spoke to them, and afterwards all the children of Israel came near, and he commanded them all. Yahweh had spoken with him on Mount Zion. And when Moshe ended speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But whenever Moshe went in before Yahweh to speak with him, he would remove the veil until he came out. And when he came out, he spoke to the children of Israel that all he had been commanded. And the children of Israel would see the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe would put a veil on his face again until he went in to speak with him, Yahweh. Moving on to Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 16 on page 567. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own ways and deeds. To me, their way was like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. So I poured out my wrath on them for the blood they had shed on the land, and for their idols they defiled it. And I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed throughout the lands. But I have judgment. And I have scattered them among the nations, and they have dispersed throughout the lands. I have judged them according to their ways and their deeds. And when they came to the nations, wherever they went, they profaned my set-apart name, for it was said on them, These are the people of Yahweh, and yet they have gone out of his hand. But I was compassionate on my set-apart name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations wherever they went. Therefore say to the house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahweh, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my set apart name's sake, which you have profaned among the nations wherever you went. And I shall set apart my great name, which you have profaned among the nations, which you have profaned in all the midst, and the nations shall know that I am Yahweh, declares the Master Yahweh, when I am set apart in you before their eyes. And I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all the lands, and I shall bring you into your own land, and I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from your idols I cleanse you, and I shall give you a new heart, and put a new spirit within you. And I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh, and put my spirit within you. And I shall cause you to walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim, and I shall save you from all your uncleanness. And I shall call for the grain and increase it, and shall bring no scarcity, and I shall bring no scarcity of food upon you. And I shall increase the fruit of your trees and the increase of your fields, so that you need never again bear the reproach of scarcity of food among the nations. And you shall remember your evil ways and your deeds that were not good. And you shall loathe yourselves in your own eyes for your crookedness and your abominations. Not for your sake am I acting, declares Yahweh. Let it be known to you. Be ashamed and blush for your ways, O house of Israel. Thus said the Master of Yahweh, on the day I cleanse you from all the crookedness, I shall cause the cities to be inhabited, and the ruined places shall be rebuilt, and the land that was laid waste tilled instead of being of ruin before the eyes of all who pass by. And they shall say, this land that was laid waste has become like the Garden of Eden, and the wasted and deserted and the destroyed cities are now walled and inhabited. Moving on to John chapter 11, verse 47, found on page 1038. So the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered the council and said, what shall we do concerning? Because this man, Yeshua, does many signs. This is right after he raises Lazarus, Elazar, out of the tomb. If we let him alone like this, they all shall believe in him, and the Romans shall come and take from us both our place and nation. That's what they were worried about. They weren't worried about Elohim. They were worried about their station in life. And one of them, Cephadius, being high priest of that year, said to them, you know not, neither do you consider that it is better for us that one man die for the people than the entire nation should perish. But he did not say this for himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yeshua was about to die for the nation. and not for the nation only, but to gather together into one the children of Elohim who were scattered abroad. So from that day on they plotted to kill him. Yeshua therefore no longer went openly among the Judeans, but went from there into the country near the wilderness to the city called Ephraim, and remained there with his taught ones. Now the Pesach of the Judeans was near, and many went from the country up to Jerusalem before the Pesach to set themselves apart. And so they were seeking Yeshua, and spoke among one another, standing in the set apart place. What do you think? Is he not coming to the festival at all? And both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a command that if anyone knew where he was, he should disclose it in order for them to seize them. Shalom, Shabbat. Thank you for reading with me. Make it a great day. And talk to the Father.